Hi, I'm Lawson. I'm a writer and YouTuber. I have content on Medium.com, Newsbreak.com. I have a blog on WordPress. I, um, I have a weekly newsletter. It's free. And I also post a lot of other content on Substack, a Substack newsletter. I also have a podcast. Um, just Google my name, look for my picture, and click on the links. You can find my content. I couldn't. I'm sitting here. I wanted to post a video today, and I couldn't think of anything to talk about. And there wasn't any suggestions or any questions. Yeah. And I got to thinking about my time in Minneapolis, and it's just interesting. Uh, I was sent to a shelter where I had my own room. I didn't have to be on the streets all day or in the library. And the place had a park for the residents. When the weather's nice, that's where everybody, we were all out there all the time. I got to where I spent a lot of time out there because I was self-isolating in my room, and that wasn't healthy, and I realized that. So I'd go out and hang out, and eventually I started drinking. That's another story. But anyway, the first time I can't remember which happened first, but there was one guy who was he worked part time as a bouncer at a club, and he'd always leave out to work in the evening, dressed in a nice suit. And I didn't know him all that well. He was a friend, we find ourselves standing next to each other, and we'd engage in brief small talk, or hi, how you doing, and everything. We didn't hang together or anything. But I was out in the park one day, and I found out that they found his body in his room. He had died in his sleep. And he seemed fine. Like when I was talking to him a few days before, And then there was another time. Guy sits down across me on the bench. Had his back. We all have backpacks. He'd take his backpack off and sat down, and he pulled a beer, a can of beer out of the bag, and he pops the lid, and well, I just went to the doctor today. Doctor says if I drink any more alcohol, I'm gonna die. So then he chugs and downs that beer really fast. And well, next thing you know, he's grabbing his gut in extreme pain, doubled over. I said, dude, you need to go to the desk and have them call 911. And so he does, because the ambulance came, sirens blaring just a few minutes later. Never saw the guy again. And then a few days later, it was the next day, I asked the desk about him, if he was okay, and they wouldn't tell me. And but they kind of frowned and shook their head. So that told me all I needed to know. And there's and then there was some people that you see around all the time. Talk to them, halfway cordial with them, and then next thing you know, they got a memorial thing for him in the lobby or in the cafeteria because they had passed away. You know, it's like when you're in that life, death is around you. Death and sickness and madness is around you all the time. And after a while, you get inured to it. It doesn't bother you. You know, it doesn't. Oh well, they're gone. You know, it's just a different way of looking at things. And it kind of changes you. And it messed up my head. And I'm really thankful that I got out of it as fast as I did, with as little damages I did. I can only imagine what I'd be like now if I was still homeless. So I didn't know what else to talk about. I couldn't think. Those stories came to mind. People seem to like my stories when I talk about stuff like that. So I'm gonna think of other stories to talk about, and let me know if you enjoyed them. Leave comments and share my videos, and I'll talk to y'all again later.